All right, guys. So we left off yesterday. We finished example 2, which was that really long one that had like A through H parts. So for today, looking at example 3, examine Lorna's biweekly pay stub. Assuming that Lorna's salary and deductions remain the same throughout the calendar year, how much will be taken out of her total annual gross salary for federal and state? All right, so this is a biweekly. So how many pay stubs does she get a year then? 26. All right, so biweekly, so we know 26 for the year, because it's talking about annual. So I know I'm going to take this to annual. All right, so it's asking about federal and state taxes. Do we see federal and state taxes on there? Now, I see two different columns. I see this one, and I also see this other one. What's this one? Year to date. And if you look, it's March. So is that last column helping me? No, it's not. But this one is just for one pay. John, behave. Your next step is in the hallway. You've been whining and complaining since you sat in that seat today. What was your comment? I can't focus here. I want to sit here. Like you've made lots. Yeah, no. Okay. All right, so federal and state tax for biweekly. So what should I do with those to figure out how much is for the year? Add them and then what? And then times it by 26. So let's add them together first. So 1,147 plus 280.89. Good. And then, like Alex said, we'll multiply then by 26. 341. Okay. Oh, that's all right. I just want to make sure I heard you. Or didn't hear you right. I don't know. Good. So for the year, if that continued to be exactly the same each pay, they would have taken out over $33,000 from her for the year. That is crazy. But look how big her paycheck is, though, for biweekly. I mean, almost 4,600 bucks for a biweekly. That's a pretty good size paycheck. All right, questions there? Pretty easy? Okay. All right, so example 4. On January 30th, Joanne Toscano received this W-2 form from her employer. How much did Joanne pay in taxes during the year? So where do we see taxes listed on here? Okay, box 2. Now, in this case, Social Security tax, we're not including Social Security, and we will not include Medicare when it's asking this. It's asking for like federal, city, local, state, like those kind of taxes. Okay? Yeah. 17 is your state, and 19 is your local. Good. So the question was, how much did she pay in taxes? Add them all up. So when we add them all up, what do we get? A lot. 15,851 plus 5,344.50 and 1,092. And the question that's down here, cross it off. I really don't like this question. So we're not doing it. I don't like the reason I don't like it is asking what percent of her gross income did she actually take home. Well, Medicare is not on there, and you know darn well she paid Medicare. She's paying Social Security. So I don't really like that question. It's got incomplete info. So what about that? 22,000 in taxes. You ready to give that much of your paychecks to government? Now, guys, I do want you to look real quick. If you look box 3, 76,350, the regular wages are 76,350. So it's the same. Do you remember yesterday in that like pre-testing we did, sometimes it was less? They didn't do anything smart and take out stuff pre-tax. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh. It just means they're not going to take hardly anything out for taxes. Come end of the year, she's probably going to owe. Mm. Do you have 4 kids in your family? Okay. Well, I mean, it's legit. Just they're not going to take as much out for taxes, and depending on what type of things that she has to claim on her taxes, she may end up owing money because they're not taking out much. She probably uses like TurboTax or something like that. That usually walks her through pretty good. Yeah. All right, example 5. Amy Springfield works for Pound Ridge Financial Planners. Her employer uses an electronic W-2 form as shown at the right. What accounts for the difference between her wages listed in box 1 and her Social Security and Medicare wages in boxes 3 and 5? So this goes back to that pretest we did yesterday. So take a look. The government is taxing her on $78,900, but take a look at then what Medicare and Social Security are taxing her on. Do you see the difference on that W-2 somewhere that accounts for that? What's the difference between those numbers? Let's talk about that. So 92,100 and 78,900. What's the difference between those? How much? 13,200. If you just subtract those, just looking at strictly subtracting them. Yeah, Jordan. And the cafeteria plan. Yeah, see retirement plan over here, 12,200, and they have a cafeteria plan, which we're going to talk about right there. So do you see the difference of the 13,200? So they went from looking up 92,000 in their tax booklet to only looking up 78,900 in the tax booklet. It's a lot less taxes. Okay, so the more things that you can like put in tax free, you know, they don't and tax you on, is going to save you money at the end of the year. All right, so all of those things are called tax-deferred contributions. Money placed in a qualified retirement account. Taxes on this money are deferred until you make a withdrawal when you retire. So unfortunately, eventually you'll pay taxes on it, but not now. You'll wait and pay those taxes actually when you retire, when you start drawing that money out of there. Okay? That way they're not double taxing you now, and then again when you retire, and because then it's like you're getting paid out of your retirement account. So you still pay taxes like a normal paycheck. So you don't do it now, you'll do it then. Cafeteria plan, which we had that CAF 125 up there. It's held back portions of pre-tax wages for the payment of certain medical, child care, parental care, and non-reimbursed medical insurance expenses. So with a cafeteria plan, you can set aside so much from like each paycheck or whatever to go into this account. They don't tax you on it, and then you can use that money tax-free to pay for medical, child care, parental care, things like that. So a lot of people do that, like they anticipate, like they know they're on a medication, so they have to like refill it every month. So they make sure they have enough in there to pay for that, because you can only use it for those things. And at the end of the year, any money that's left in there, you've lost. So you got to be careful how much you put in there, right? Don't just throw a bunch in there thinking, yeah, I'll just kind of bank it up, and then you don't use it. Come December 31st, you've lost that money. It goes to the government. But if you know for sure you're going to have things to spend it on, then it's crazy not to, because you don't have to pay taxes on it then. And then flexible spending accounts. I used to have one of these when I taught in Findlay. It's an employer-sponsored plan in which employees choose to deposit funds that will be used for the sole purposes outlined above, so that cafeteria plan type of thing as well, and only in the specified 12-month period. So use it or lose it type of plan. So again, similar to a cafeteria. That one just has to be sponsored by your employer. Cafeteria plan, anybody can do those. Okay, so just some different names, all means the same thing. Okay, money that I can put aside for both of these, put it aside on my own for use of medical things, and then I don't pay taxes on it. All right. So example 6. Amy pays 20% federal tax and 7% sales tax, or state tax. How much did she save in taxes by putting money in her tax-deferred and flexible spending accounts? So if you look, again, this is the same person, right, where she's only getting taxed on 78 instead of the 92,100. So since she put all this money aside, just like my last example, how much did she actually save in taxes? So what we need to do, what percent of taxes is she actually being charged? 27%. So let's say the 92,100, let's say she didn't put any of it away and they taxed her on all of it. How much would she have been taxed? So we can multiply that by 27%. So $24,867. That's what her tax would have been. Okay? That's a lot of money. So how much did she actually save? So instead of taxing her on all of this, they only taxed her on 78,900. So 27% of that tax, 21,303. So how much did she save? Good. So we just subtract those to find the difference. $3,564. So she saved over $3,500 in taxes by putting that money out aside ahead of time. Will she get to use that money? The $1,000 has to be used on medical stuff, and she'll never pay taxes on that, which is great. The $12,200, she'll pay taxes on that when she retires as she uses it. So she's saving that money now, which I think is a no-brainer. Why would you not put stuff away pre-tax, right? Save over $3,500 just by doing that. All right, example 7. A taxpayer's annual Social Security tax is $3,431.70. What is the taxpayer's gross salary? No, you're fine. What do you think? Very nice. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, normally, if you think about it, normally we would take their annual salary, kind of put this in words so you can see it, and we would normally multiply that by 0.062, and that would give you your Social Security tax, right? That's normally what we would do. So if you think about it backwards, Social Security tax, we know is $3,431.70. It's still the 0.062. And the annual salary now is the part I don't know. So how do you get X by itself? You divide. So it's exactly what Elena said. It's working it backwards. So what was their annual salary? Good. $55,350. So you can work it backwards. Think I'm going to make you do that in a little bit? Yeah, I am. Yes. We live in Ohio. All right, example 8. A taxpayer's annual Medicare tax is $551. What is the taxpayer's gross salary? So again, I'm working it backwards. Elena? Good. So 551 divided by 0.0145. Their annual salary was $38,000. It was not. All right, so working it backwards, we just, instead of multiplying, we divide. Okay, easy enough. All right, you're going to see a problem like this on a quiz. You're going to see a problem like this on a test. I think these problems are easy, and it always kills me when kids get these wrong. So let's see how you guys do. I actually have another one. We're going to do 2. I added another one to your notes, so I'll hand that to you in a minute because I know that's the end of your notes. So right now, I gave you part of a W-2 form, and I want you to fill in the missing pieces. Okay? So now here's the thing that I think kids get hung up on. They see that the first thing I asked for is box 1. Can you go from box 5 to box 1 just easy peasy? Not necessarily. So don't feel like you have to go in order. I just listed them in numerical order. That's why they're in that order. Okay? So what I want you guys to do is just kind of forget this over here for a minute. Just start here. If I know the Medicare wages, do you know the Medicare tax? Yeah, how do you find that? Multiply. Dividing's to work it backwards. So yeah, if I take this, I'm going to multiply. Medicare is 0.0145. You can just multiply, find out the Medicare tax. Good. So 1,059.86. Yes. Social Security wages. I'm going to tell you right now, for all of these, they're not maxing out. Okay, they're not going to be so much they max out. So Medicare and Social Security, they're always going to be the same. So that's also 73,094. And then to find their tax, multiply 0.062. Good. $4,531.83. Okay. Box 1. I'm going to add it to the 73,000. So they're going to pay more for federal taxes than they are. There you go. Yeah, because if they have stuff here, this is pre-tax. Social Security, Medicare taxes on everything. So we're going to take these two things, and we're going to subtract them from this. So 73,094, and we're going to subtract off that 1,900, and we're going to subtract off the 4,500. Because that's stuff that's pre-tax, so federal government won't tax you on that. So how much are they getting taxed on? Good, $66,694. Now, I didn't put it on here, but let's kind of add. What about box 2? Let's say it's 20% tax. Could you tell me what box 2 is then? Should be an easy one, but I feel like I think I throw that on your test, and I don't have it on here, so I want to make sure it's in here. So if federal, we'll say, is roughly 20%, then how much federal tax was withheld? Too much, I agree. Yeah. Costs a lot of money to run everything in the government, though. I just added if I asked for box 2 and I told you it was 20% for tax. So then you just had to multiply this by 20% to get that. That was all I did. All right, guys, let's go ahead and go through example 10. You what? You got it? Good. All right, so example 10. So which one do we need to start with? Social Security wages. Because right now, this is the only thing I have, which is the tax. How do you work the tax backwards? Good. 0.062. So you divide that. We should have gotten 83,500. And if Social Security wages are that, what about Medicare? Medicare also is that. All right, even before I subtract, can I work this one this way now? Yes, then I can multiply this by 0.0145. Good. All right, and then Luke, what were you wanting me to do? Good. Take your wages. We're subtracting off cafeteria and that retirement. So minus the 2,300, minus the 3,250. And then if I told you 20% was federal, 90, okay. 15,500. Interesting. 15,590. My whole thing shifted. Yes, 15,590. W-4 tells the government like how many you're claiming, so they know how much money to take out of your check every paycheck for taxes. W-2 is what they send you in January that says how much money you made for the year. That's when they'll send you your W-2 that says how much you made, how much they took out in taxes and all that. Then you have to go through and file a 1040 form, which we will do next week. And then based on that, tells you whether you get money back or you have to pay money. You guys will at this age. When you get older, you won't. It's probably because of what he claims on his W-4. He's filled out a number that they take enough out that it covers his taxes. That's good. That's really good. Yeah, Devin. Your taxes? Come January? Sure? Yep. Oh, yeah, you can bring it in.